Welcome, folks, to our MJA News Spots Part 4, Missing Maura Murray. Maura Murray was 21 years old at the time of her disappearance. Miss Murray has been gone for almost 14 years. Miss Murray was last seen on February 9th, 2004, after a one-car accident on Route 112 East in New Hampshire near Woodsville, New Hampshire. Maura Murray hasn't been seen or heard from since that date. There is so much hearsay evidence as to what happened to Miss Murray. I think it would be safe to say there are thousands of rumors as to what has happened to Miss Murray. But that doesn't make it true, and many have been ruled out as being not true. There are many times that this slows down an investigation or could hinder an investigation. MJA got involved in the Maura Murray case in November 2005 because Mr. Maitland, whose daughter, Brianna Maitland, has been missing since March 19th, 2004, had arranged for MJA and Mr. Murray to meet. There are many times, about 3 years into any investigations, MJA usually has a handle on the case and who the suspect is or might be. But with Miss Murray's case, after our first 3 years into the case, we had a handle on what could have happened, but no factual evidence to prove it. Then take into account that at the time there were too many suspects. Let's not get bogged down by that Miss Murray was running away on her own free will, that she went to the mountains to kill herself, a task force, a police cover-up, or the possibility of a cop being involved. The Rag in the Tailpipe, Tim and Lance's podcast, James Renner's book, The Oxygen Channel, the so-called witnesses who didn't see where Miss Murray went, and they didn't see any vehicle pick up Miss Murray. Some say when her car spun out of control, it hit a snowbank, and some say the car hit a tree. Mike Lavoie towing Miss Murray's car to his private garage. The police not entering from both directions of the crash site. Let's not get bogged down by John Smith or MJA or what we might say or do. We are investigators, and not everyone is going to agree with us or how the investigation has been handled. But we answer to the Murray family, no one else. But mistakes have been made by the police, John Smith, and MJA. After all, no one is perfect. We can't do anything about it now, and all we can try to do is correct some of those mistakes. As you see, a lot that has been mentioned above, and a lot of the times it is what we call white noise. So much time has been spent on these issues when what has been mentioned above is not going to locate Miss Murray. Let's get to the cold hard facts of the disappearance of Maura Murray. These will be facts, not hearsay or rumors. Think, people, someone has to know about our suspect and who it might be. If you thought about it more, maybe someone made some off-the-wall comments about the case that didn't seem right. People living in the area where Miss Murray disappeared from must face the fact Miss Murray's abduction at the time would be called a stranger abduction because Miss Murray drove from UMass. People have to face the fact that a local living among them could have abducted Miss Murray, or that a stranger passing through where Miss Murray had her accident abducted Miss Murray. You must understand, when Miss Murray is found, there is a very good possibility that the suspect left some type of evidence behind that might have some type of value. These will be true investigative questions and answers. Foul play is involved in the disappearance of Maura Murray. I am not here to defend any police actions, but I worked undercover on the streets for 11 years, and at this time I have been an independent investigator for 42 years. People must understand that the New Hampshire Attorney General is handling the case and is going by the book. It's an open investigation, and I know from past experience you don't talk about the case to the media or to the public, and yes, it's sad to say, but police hide things from the victim's family. Is that fair to the victim's family? No, it's not. But as I said, let's not get bogged down in police and politics. This is what we know by some of the facts that have been released. After Miss Murray had her one-car accident on New Hampshire Route 112 East, more than one person called 911, and someone even spoke to Miss Murray. Then, in a 7 to 9 minute window, just to be on the safe side, when the police arrived, Miss Murray was nowhere to be found. There was no apparent sign of a struggle or footprints in the snow leading into the woods, a fact that people get hung up on. When Miss Murray actually was abducted, that everyone that was watching just happened to stop watching at that given moment. That the school bus driver was in his school bus doing paperwork and he didn't see Miss Murray pass by or see any car stopping. Here is what people fail to realize. It is possible and it can happen. Case on point. 6-year-old Shannon Sherrill was abducted on October 15, 1986, from Thorntown, Indiana. Shannon was playing hide and seek with at least 8 other children. This was in a mobile home park. There were 2 guys next door working on a truck and 3 people across the street barbecuing on the grill. But even then, there were 2 witnesses seeing a van driving around the mobile home park with out-of-state plates. But they didn't actually see Shannon or the abduction, but the scent bloodhounds lost Shannon's scent at that location. The lead on the van and the composite sketch of the driver the witnesses gave was never fully investigated because police was stuck that it had to be a local that took Shannon and that they were stuck on locating a red truck. No one seen Shannon being abducted. MJA done a reenactment of the crime with several of the people that was there that day. In 2006, those statements and the composite sketch turned out to be true and led MJA to a suspect. The abductor, a 1980s child serial killer, David E. Penton, had 1 minute and 20 seconds to get Shannon into his van without being seen. Penton was arrested in April of 1988 in Ohio, and Penton has 4 convictions in Texas, including shaking his 2.5-month-old son to death. We done the reenactment over and over again, leaving nothing to chance. So yes, it's very possible nobody's seen anything when Miss Murray was abducted. Let's take a pause for the cause. Back in a moment concerning missing Maura Murray, who has been missing since February 9th, 2004. Welcome back to our MJA News Spots, Part 4, Missing Maura Murray. Now let's get back to the bus driver. If you're in the cab of the bus doing your paperwork, more than likely you would have the inside lights on in the bus to do your paperwork. Do an experiment. In those lighting conditions, the bus driver wouldn't have seen Miss Murray walk by or see a car stop, and I would think the driver would be looking more down at his paperwork. Seriously, check it out. Yes, it's very possible people wasn't paying attention at the time Miss Murray was abducted. These questions have been asked by other investigators, including experts, media outlets, law enforcement officers doing this work on their time off covering 3 states. Question: at your investigative and search firm, you believe that Maura Murray was abducted? Yes. Question: do you have any suspects concerning the disappearance of Miss Murray? Yes, and we have a pretty good handle how the crime was carried out. What bothers MJA the most is after 2 years, we haven't been able to rule him out as a suspect. Until he is ruled out as a suspect, he will stay on our radar. Question: do you think she was followed from UMass? It's always possible, but we have 2 profilers that say that's highly unlikely. Question: did Miss Murray know the suspect or go to college with them? At this time, we cannot confirm that information, but we do know the suspect and Miss Murray might have known some of the same people and went to the same college hangouts. The type of suspect we would be looking for fits our suspect's profile. At this time, we can't release to the public that there is another connection between the suspect and Miss Murray. Welcome to Serial Killer Avenue. Even with all that, MJA can't rule out a stranger abduction. MJA investigators have strong feelings that Miss Murray was not the suspect's first victim. Let's face the facts. No matter who abducted Miss Murray, do you really think a rookie on their first try would leave nothing behind? Whoever abducted Miss Murray was good. Maybe the suspect used some type of weapon to make her follow his orders. Many of us believe that was more than likely what happened. Why? The fact on each side of Miss Murray were snowbanks at least 4 feet high in some places. If Miss Murray knew she was in danger, she could have scaled over the snowbank and got lost in the woods. It was dark. The abductor wouldn't have found her or known what direction she went in. The suspect couldn't stick around because he figured the police would arrive because of the accident. Try another experiment. Miss Murray, in a lot of places, could have been in the woods walking and could still see the road without being seen. Fact. Miss Murray was a track star, once a West Point cadet, a camper, and an excellent mountain hiker. It wouldn't have been hard for Miss Murray to get lost into the woods from her abductor. In our line of work, that is pure skills. In our search efforts to locate Miss Murray, our search areas are branching out. MJA has learned through the years that the killer will sometimes take the victims hundreds of miles away from the crime scene. There has even been talk that maybe Miss Murray is hid on someone's private property. MJA has thought about that avenue and thought that would be real risky to do because one little mistake could bring a lot of questions. A risk of a hiker walking through, a camper, or a search group like MJA searching because it's in the search area. I'm not saying all, but a lot of repeat offenders start using an area for a dumping ground. Dating back to the 1930s, bodies started turning up in Heartland, Vermont area. Every few years you will hear of some remains being found around that area. I also know that serial killer Israel Keyes confessed to dumping one of his early victims in a lake up here in New York near my area. I still haven't heard if the police have searched for the victim or even plan to. If not, MJA might get involved in trying to locate the remains. Now back to Miss Murray. Question. Do you think the interaction between the suspect and Miss Murray was random or the suspect was hunting? Many believe it was by chance because we really don't know for a fact how many stops Miss Murray made that didn't have video. But it could have been hunting and the suspect had to make a stop. Maybe the suspect seen Miss Murray pull out of somewhere and he followed. Some other fact. Whoever abducted Miss Murray left nothing behind to ID him or her. All the areas we have searched, we should have found something. Questions. Question. Are we to believe as a fact that a local with no history of doing this took Miss Murray and got rid of all the evidence? Finding nothing says a lot about the suspect, which can be his downfall. MJA believes because of Miss Murray's case, the suspect has changed his MO, so we are looking at other avenues. MJA profilers said they could be wrong, But most of these killers just don't stop on their own. There is usually some factors like being in jail, health issues, their death, someone else's health issues, or their death. The suspect we are looking at is in his late 30s and could have started raping in high school. There are some of the facts, these are some of the facts and questions we should be dealing with instead of getting bogged down by things that isn't going to locate Miss Murray. Beyond anything else, you must keep in your mind that Miss Murray is real and her family and friends deserve to know what happened to their loved one. The facts. Maura Murray went missing on February 9th, 2004 after having a one-car accident on Route 112 East in New Hampshire near Woodsville, New Hampshire. Miss Murray hasn't been seen or heard from since that date. Maura Murray was abducted. Maura Murray must be located. I have a quote for our listeners. You are where you are for such a time as this, not to make an impression, but to make a difference. That's the end of tonight's MJA News Spots Part 4, Missing Maura Murray. Always remember, folks, if you ever get bored with nothing to do, just take a walk deep into the woods. You might be surprised what you might find. My name is Mark, and good night from Plattsburgh, New York.